Hi, this tutorial is to show you how to create a Google site for your portfolio or for your class. So the first thing you're going to need is a Google Drive account. I believe you need a Gmail. Actually, maybe not. I'm not sure exactly what you need for that, but to make one, you can just click on Google Drive and then click here and that'll take you to Google Drive. Now I already have a Google Drive account. You can see I have a lot of stuff in my Google Drive account. I use it all the time. When you're ready, I would suggest gather all your materials for your class or for your portfolio and sort of organize them. So for example, I have a whole folder that it was all of the stuff for the continuing contract. And you can see that I had all the stuff for my project, all of my student evals, observations, my instructional materials. They were all sort of organized so that when I was ready to pull them into my Google Drive, they were ready to go. As I continued to update my site throughout the continuing contract process, I just added them to the appropriate place in Google Drive and then I could pull them over. To start your new Google site, you would go to New and then More, and then you'd click on Google Site. Now I've already created a site, so I'm just going to go there. But when you click on that site, it'll bring up something that looks like this. And you can see you have sort of a banner at the top and your page title right here. Now when you first start to edit, you can choose a theme. So various different font styles, various different colors. You can change it. You can go to something like this, which has sort of a different look, or maybe that's attracted to you. You can change this background image. You can either upload something or you can choose one of the ones that they provide. If you're doing some kind of computer thing, you could pick something with a computer in it. Or if you were an astronomy person, you could put a picture of space. I actually ended up uploading something that went with my field of study. Oops. This is what it looks like. I actually used sort of an AMP type of background, so it correlated to what I was doing. You can put your page title, and you could put name, and then maybe if you're doing this for a class, you could put the class in there, and sort of have your name and the class name in there. And maybe you can say, oh, I don't really like that font. I'm going to use this font. One thing to note is that whatever you put on your home page, all the pages that you add will have that same background. So make sure you like the background before you make all the rest of your pages. You can change them individually, but it's just a lot of work. So when I did it, you can see I have a lot of different pages, and I didn't necessarily make all the pages after I made the first one, so I ended up having to do a lot of work to change the pictures. Now, when you want to put something on your page, it's very easy. There's two ways to do it. You can either click on Insert, and it gives you sort of 4 options of things that you can insert: text, image, something from your drive, or an embed. Or you can actually double click down here and it'll give you those same options. So if you wanted to put a text box, you can say, welcome to my portfolio, click wherever on the left to access the content. And you can change that text into a title if you'd like, then it's nice and big. You can change the font here. Oops. I don't want to do that. You can change the size and various other things. When you are ready to create other pages, the way I did it in my portfolio is I had, for each of the 6 sections of the portfolio that are required, I had a new page. So the way to make a new page is click on the page button. And then, so for example, maybe I would put instructional materials. And then that'll insert a new page called instructional materials. Underneath that page, you can add a subpage. So for example, for one of your classes, this is a class I teach, That's going to add a page underneath. I can do another one under Bio 132, or I can do another one under the instructional materials. So I can put like a different class. So I think you're required to do 2 or 3 classes in the portfolio. So that's how I set mine up. If I wanted to make another page, I'd go back to the home page, and you can either just add another page or you can add another subpage. So for example, for your project, you can just put in a page for that. I think I actually didn't do it that way. I think I did it not as a subpage, but just as another page. Not sure. Anyway, so you can delete it if you don't like where it is. Oops. And then you can put project like that. So now it's not a sub page under the home page. When you are ready to add stuff, so this is why it's helpful to have everything in your Google Drive, or have most stuff in your Google Drive before you start this process. You can go ahead and insert things in there. So for example, if you want to insert something from your Drive, you can go into Drive and open your continuing contract and open your instructional materials, and you can then add something. So for example, this is an assignment that I use in that class, and you can just insert it. You can see here it comes. And when someone's looking at your portfolio, they can actually open that up and see the entire activity. They don't have to just see this little part of it. You can make this bigger if you want to emphasize it and talk about it. Or you can make it smaller if you don't really want it to be the focus. If you want someone to be able to access it, but not necessarily have to look at the whole thing. Then you might want to put a text box next to it and talk about, whatever the activity is meant to demonstrate, blah, 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 blah. Again, this can be normal text. You can also have make a title. That's spelled wrong. Right? So then you can go through there and you can add extra stuff. You can add a divider if you'd like, and that sort of divides this from something else. So for example, if you were talking about this activity and then you wanted to discuss the activity, a divider is kind of just a nice sort of placeholder. And I believe that you can, in some of the themes, you can make that divider different colors. So there's lots of different things that you can add in here. If you have a YouTube link, you can go and find a video that you've uploaded, or if you know the video, you can see that this is a video, and we could just play it right here if we wanted to. Anytime you want to delete something, you can just press the delete button, and that'll delete the section. You can also grab and drag these things around. So move them so one's on top of the other one, however it best suits you. Now, one thing that you can do is you're going to want to do a preview. And that'll show you what this actually is going to look like when somebody opens up your portfolio. So you can go home, and you can see basically what's happening. Now, you see how here with this particular theme, I have the pages up on the top right, whereas I wrote click on the left to access the content. In my actual portfolio, when you look at it, my pages are on the left, and I edited them to be down there. So you can really move things around quite a bit. Just make sure that whatever directions you give people work and are appropriate. Now, one thing you do want to do is when you share it, you want to make sure that you change the links. So for anyone with the link, you want them to be able to see it, and the published site you're going to want to have as public. Otherwise, what happens is if you give somebody the link to view your portfolio, they might be able to open the portfolio, but none of the links within it are going to be available. So once you've done that, you can click done. And then I can't remember exactly how to get this published. I know that you need to figure out a web address, and I can't remember it, but I think that is something that you can Google. Usually in my portfolio, if I go to publish, okay, so I just put in Pruitt portfolio. So let's see, can I do that? Already taken. So, you could put in something, whatever you want to name it. You just put that in there and then click on publish. And then you can share the links for it by clicking on this button. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully that was helpful. Again, it is a sort of building process, so you just have to build this thing out, adding pages as you need, and editing as you need.